Good morning, learners. Welcome to the lecture series. Today we are going to discuss about data collection method in qualitative research. So we have different methods of data collection like interviews, focus group discussion, documented materials, collection of narratives, and unstructured questionnaires. So these are different methods we employ while collecting data in qualitative research. So now we are going to see these methods one by one in detail. So let us start with interviews. So as far as interviews are concerned, interviews can be structured or unstructured. But as far as qualitative research is concerned, we try to employ semi-structured interviews where we involve number of open-ended questions. So as you know that questions can be open-ended, they can be closed-ended, or it can be mix of both. So here, these open-ended questions, they provide opportunity for both the interviewer and the interviewee to discuss some topics in more detail. Moving ahead, preparation of semi-structured interview. That means when you are preparing for a semi-structured interviews, you require to draw topic guides. So what is a topic guide? Topic guide, like they are in addition, like here, they are the written prompts, we would say. They are the written prompts in order to make sure that the necessary preliminary ground is covered concerning things like information leaflet, consent form, and voice recorder. That means here, topic guide shall help the researcher to make sure that the information leaflet uh, which confirms whether the interviewee understood the questions or not. And even the researcher makes sure that the consent form has been signed. And also, a very important point here is while conducting the semi structured interview, we use the voice recorder, and it is necessary to check whether the voice recorder is switched on or not. Okay, so here, as far as this particular method is concerned, it requires a quite comfortable location, quite comfortable location. Uh, it gives consideration. It gives consideration to how the respondent present himself or herself in terms of dress, in terms of manner, and so on. And also, we know that interviews are also audio recorded, and nowadays we have digital voice recorder. We have digital voice recorder, which is excellent and easier to use and is less intrusive than the tape recorder. Sorry. So sometimes the researcher also use the video recorder. Video recorder, they are also used in cases where non-verbal signals are needed. Wherever the non-verbal signals are needed, there we use video recording of the interview. Moving ahead with the second point here, focus group discussion. The name itself suggests that it has something to do with group discussion. So group is going to be involved here in discussion. So we will see what should be the size of the group and how to conduct the group discussion. So here, focus group discussion is a discussion of group of persons guided by a facilitator, moderator, or the researcher himself. So during which the group members they talk freely and spontaneously about a certain topic fixed in advance in a group environment. So the group members they will talk on a particular topic in group environment. So what is the ideal size? What is the ideal size? Like how many members we should have to conduct focus group discussion. So the ideal size for a group discussion is 8. That means approximately 8 people in a particular focus group, they are considered to be the best. Here, the researcher must also lay down the ground rules of the discussion, right? And the discussion should be confidential. That means whatever is being discussed should be confidential. That means the group member uh, should not share the discussion with anyone. And one more important thing is time management, like completion of the focus group as per the time limit. Usually people, they feel that focus group discussion is cheaper than interviews. But here, focus groups are not necessarily a cheaper and quicker means to an end than our interviews, as focus groups may be more difficult to manage. They may be more difficult to manage and more difficult to convene because more people are involved here, right? So this is what is important. And along with these things, we must have some proper arrangement or some preparation while conducting the focus group discussion. So the things which are uh, necessary, like accessible locations where the participant can feel comfortable and relaxed, and the time of the focus group discussion, and the facilities like maybe a car parking space, yeah, and providing the refreshments, toilet facilities, all right? So these are very important uh, things which are involved while conducting a focus group discussion. And as far the refreshment is concerned, refreshment, it serves as an icebreaker. It allows the participant to meet each other before the focus group starts, and one should make sure that the discussion should not be interrupted. The discussion should not be interrupted. And one more very important thing, what you can see in the quotation mark here is there are ways of presenting ideas. So when the group members, they are presenting their ideas, they should avoid the breaching of confidentiality. We have an example here, like a participant can say, I have heard on a grapevine that X sometimes happen, rather than saying X has happened to me. So this should be the policy. This policy should be adopted by the group member. That means it should not uh, avoid breach confidentiality is very important here. All right. The next method is observation. So observation can be used when data collection through other means are limited or of limited value or difficult to validate. Sometime when we conduct an interview, it is not sure that the information which the researcher is gathering through the interview hold any ground, holds any ground. Like, for example, an interview participant may be asked about how they behave in certain situation, but there is no guarantee that they actually do what they say. So usually what we do, we try to use observation method. We do not observe the participant here. So the main objective for this particular method is we try to observe the environment. We try to observe the environment. So by observing the environment, we come across or we are able to describe the key component of the area, like availability of services. Suppose if you're observing a particular environment or a locality, there you come across or there you try to realize what are the health facilities over there, do they have any leisure facility, and what about the shopping centers, hospitals, schools, etc., etc. So while collecting uh, the data by using observation method, the researcher should have written description, should also go for video recording, and artifacts also play a great role in this particular method. So artifacts, they are nothing but whatever artwork, an environment or a house or a locality has. For example, we have we we have some pictures at home, some statues, some items in the showcase, right? Which helps to understand about the background of a person. Let me give an example. Suppose if in a house there are some pictures, some photographs of god and goddesses, definitely it will exhibit that the person is religious, and even it will also reflect the religion of the person, right? So artifacts, they also play a great role in understanding the culture of a particular community or a society. Then we have collection of documented material. Collection of documented material is nothing but using of secondary data. Secondary data like the policy documents, the mission statement, the annual reports, the code of conduct, minutes of meetings, websites, case notes, health promotion materials, diaries, photographs, and series of letters or emails. So these are the documented material which are used while collecting the data. Moving ahead with the next one, collection of narratives. So I'm not going in detail on narratives because already I have uploaded a lecture on approaches of qualitative research. So there you can have uh, in detail information on collection of narratives. So here collection of narrative is like a story told by a research participant, a story told by a research participant or a conversation between two or more people, which can be used as a source of data in qualitative research. We have an example. We have some examples here, like an account of person living with chronic illness. That means a person living with chronic illness is narrating a story, which helps to understand about that particular disease, illness, or with a child with special needs or care of an elderly relative. So these are various examples which can be understood, which can be realized by using narrative. So during the first part of the interview, the interviewee should listen actively and should not interject with further questioning. That means the first and foremost, when the researcher is using this particular method, his job is only to listen to the participant. He should not interrupt, he should not interject. Then the researcher may follow by balancing phase like how, why, where, likewise, so that the researcher gain further explanation of the aspects of the narrative. And here the last point, open-ended questions in the questionnaire. That means while we use a questionnaire method, we have open-ended questions. So this point is already been discussed in point number 1, like when we were discussing about interview. So as we know that questions can be closed, question can be open, right? So open-ended questions are included in the questionnaire to take responses which can be analyzed qualitatively. So usually what we do in qualitative research, we try to use open-ended questions. So the open-ended questions, they usually require responses which reflects the opinion of the respondent, be written in blank spaces. So it is not like a multiple choice question. Here the questions, they are open-ended. That means there is a space where the researcher can describe or can go in detail. So this form of data may give useful guidance to researcher planning and interview or focus group discussion. So here, this was my discussion. This was my lecture on methods of data collection in qualitative research. So kindly subscribe my channel, and the relevant lectures are already uploaded, and for the future videos, subscription is very important. Once you subscribe, you're getting all the videos and lectures, so that there is sharing of knowledge. So with this, I conclude. Thank you, one and all.